This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 11, Translation. The sons of Maharaj Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishmadev congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection. Prabhuji, can you close the window, please? Purport. When Maharaj Pandu died, his sons were all small children, and naturally they were brought up under the affection of elderly members of the royal family, specifically by Bhishmadev. Later on, when the Pandavas were grown up, they were cheated by cunning Duryodhana and company, and Bhishmadev, although he knew that the Pandavas were innocent and were unnecessarily put into trouble, could not take the side of the Pandavas for political reasons. At the last stage of his life, when Bhishmadev saw his most exalted grandsons, headed by Maharaj Yudhishthir, sitting very gently at his side, the great warrior grandfather could not check his loving tears, which were automatically flowing from his eyes. He remembered the great tribulations suffered by his most pious grandsons. Certainly he was the most satisfied man because of Yudhishthir's being enthroned in place of Duryodhana, and thus he began to congratulate them. Pandu putran upasinan prashraya prema sangatan abhyachastanu ragashair andi bhutena chakshusha. The sons of Maharaj Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhishmadev congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection. So the scene here is that the Pandavas are there, and Krishna is there, and many other devotees are there. And now Bhishma is looking at all of them. He's lying on the bed of arrows, but he is specifically touched by the presence of the Pandavas, and as we will see later, by the presence of Lord Krishna. So although he is a very strong person, a great warrior, great general, it doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings, and it doesn't mean he cannot cry. So in this situation, when he is about to leave his body, he's crying, because he is seeing the persons that he loves. So the elderly members of the royal family were taking care of the Pandavas when their father Pandu, Maharaj Pandu, died, and one of them was Bhishmadev. But unfortunately later they were cheated by Duryodhana, and due to political reasons Bhishmadev, he didn't take their side. And now in this chapter, which is called The Passing Away of Bhishmadev, there is so many lessons, valuable lessons, and it has 49 verses. And this, if you go just to the next couple of verses, you can get a broader picture of what is happening here. So Pandavas, they underwent terrible sufferings and terrible injustices So we may think that this is because of their past sinful activities. Usually when people suffer, this is because of their past sinful activities. But Srila Prabhupada says, no, this was not because of their past sinful activities. This was because of the plan of the Lord. This was because of the arrangement of the Lord. And later also Bhishmadev says that no one can understand the plan of the Lord. Even Brahma and Shiva cannot understand the plan of the Lord. And if we read the stories in the scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam or Mahabharata, sometimes we don't understand why certain things are happening or why Krishna is acting in a certain way, but later it becomes more clear why things are happening like this. So, in this case, as Srila Prabhupada later explains, is that Krishna wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, and that a person, no matter how great he is, even Bhishmadev was a great devotee and a great warrior, that he cannot win if he is on the wrong side. This is the lesson that Srila Prabhupada explains. He cannot win if he is on the wrong side. And Srila Prabhupada is giving 3 things to be aware of for a pious person and for a devotee, that the pious man is faithful to the Lord, for he is guided by the bona fide Brahmana and Vaishnava, following the religious principles. So Srila Prabhupada, this is in the verse 14, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, these 3 guiding principles should be the aim of life. So there is 3 principles. A pious man is first of all faithful to the Lord, and he is guided by the bona fide Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, and following Vaishnavas who are following the religious principles. So what does it mean to have faith? It doesn't mean to have faith only when everything is going well, when everything is going nice. It means to have faith even if there is so many trials and tribulations, like we see here in the case of Pandavas, in the case of Lord Rama and Sita and Lakshman, Hanuman. They were banished. We see in the Bhagavatam, in the case of so many devotees, that they went through so many troubles, but they still never lost their faith. And I'm very inspired and very impressed when I meet a person who doesn't blame the Lord and who has faith no matter what happens. So Srila Prabhupada is always bringing us back to basics. And one of the basic principles is faith. Once we had a program in the mountains above Bologna, in Italy, in Trai Prabhu's house, and Niraja Maharaj was there. And Ramachandra Prabhu asked him, what is the most important in devotee care? And he said, to help devotees to develop their faith. Why? Because if devotee has faith, he can face anything. He can go through any challenge, to any test. to any difficult situation, and he will not give up his service, he will not give up Krishna consciousness. He will not run away just because it's hard. Because he has faith that the Lord will protect him and that ultimately he will be successful, as it was the case with so many devotees like Pandavas. So all these stories are there also to strengthen our faith that yes, there will be so many ups and downs, but ultimately we can be successful. And sometimes we are shocked by what is happening in ISKCON, scandals and shocking things, but we can see also in the scriptures with even much greater personalities, so many shocking things are happening. But what is important is what is the purpose of all of this and what is the outcome, what happens at the end, is that they understand. Now, we sometimes preach to people high philosophy and they cannot understand it very much. And we see that more effective preaching is when we understand and accept that the person has to pass through certain stages in order to understand, to realize his position, to realize different aspects of the philosophy, and that they cannot jump over this. Just by us telling us something, it doesn't mean they will understand it. Maybe they can understand it theoretically, but they cannot realize it right now. So everyone has to find their way somehow towards Krishna. And the acharyas are giving guidelines and instructions. And we are trying to follow, but somehow everyone has a personal relation with Krishna, and everyone has to find a way to go forward. And sometimes we tell people something, they don't understand it, then after 5 years they say, now I understand. Why? Because I went through the school of hard knocks. You were telling me something, that this is not good or this is good, and I didn't understand it. But now I understand, and I had to go through something. So we need to accept that we have to go through something. Some devotees don't have to go through family life, for example, because maybe past lives they went through so many experiences of family life and they are just not interested anymore, not attracted anymore. They don't have hopes of happiness or enjoyment, and they are renounced, and they are happy with that. But they don't hate grihasthas, they don't hate family people, they want to help them. But they themselves are not attracted to have children and to have home and to have some wealth and to have this family atmosphere and situation which many people are longing for. They feel good if they have this warm home atmosphere, which is not always warm. It can be very cold, it can be very troublesome, very painful, especially due to relationships. So whatever one has to go through, they have to go through. And we have to see, if we help people, then we see, okay, what Krishna wants this person to go through. So, if we are helping people, then we cannot put them in the box of perfect Krishna consciousness, but we somehow have to recognize what is it that they have to go through. And for this we have so many examples, like what we are reading now. So many examples in the scriptures that Pandavas had to go through something, and many other devotees had to go through something. For example, Maharaj Chitraketu, he didn't understand. Narada Muni was preaching to him, but he didn't understand. He wanted to have a son, and then when he got a son, he couldn't hear it from Narada Muni. He couldn't hear from Narada Muni. So his son had to die and then be brought back to life so that through his mouth he could hear about the truth. So Narada is such a perfect preacher, but he couldn't hear from him. And Narada made this arrangement that this Jiva, his son, that he can say something to King Chitraketu, and then this entered his ear and his heart, and he understood it. So we are not attached that you will accept my preaching, but we are attached that they accept preaching because this will benefit them. Also, Dhruva Maharaj, Narada tried to preach to him high philosophy, and he said, "It doesn't touch my heart. I want to revenge. I want to have a planet bigger than my father, even grandfather." And Narada said, "Okay, worship Krishna." And then, so Narada is a flexible preacher. He is not attached. Sometimes preaching is beating people on the head with principles, with points, with philosophy, and then it doesn't go through. It's not easy to reach people because people are closed. They have been hurt so much in their past lives and in this life, and they don't trust almost anyone. And we try to tell them something, and they say, "Why should I listen to you?" If people are convinced that we have their best interest at heart, they will be more open to listen to us and more open to experiment with what we suggest. So we say experiment with chanting. Experiment with chanting 1 round or 5 rounds or 16 rounds every day. You see how it works for you, how you feel about it. Even they feel that, oh, this person, he is interested in my welfare, and let me try this because of him, not so much because of me, because I don't understand this. Why should I chant? What is it about? So to help people, we need to have knowledge, but also genuine interest and care, and then they will be more open to let us help them. Or to help them to help themselves. Mahatma Prabhu has a website, and then his subtitle is "Helping Devotees to Help Themselves." That's the best help, to help others to help themselves. Now, Bhishma is such a powerful personality, and now I would like to open a little discussion. There is 10 more minutes to 8:30, and we have some senior devotees here, so I would like to ask you, how come that Bhishma, who was such a great devotee, was on the side of Duryodhana because he was paying him? Or maybe I got something wrong about the whole situation. Why Bhishma was in this? It looks like compromised situation. So if anybody would like to comment, please, I would be grateful, because I don't really understand this. And I haven't studied Mahabharata, I haven't studied much of this whole thing, but maybe if you want to explain this or comment. In Lendava, on Ram Navami, one devotee, Mudakish Prabhu, asked me, why Rama banished Sita? And I didn't know the answer, so I started studying and getting quotes, and now I have a compilation, a huge compilation of this, and it's more clear to me also why. But sometimes there is these very contradictory things that we don't understand. So why Bhishma did this compromise and didn't go to the side of the Pandavas? He stayed on the side of Duryodhana. Prabhupada says a couple of times because he was paying him, but devotee would not sell anything for money. He would not sell himself for money. So Bhishma is Mahajan. You ask. Anyway, I will leave it in the air. I will leave it open. And let me just see. To translate what?
Ja ću reći na hrvatskom, ti možeš prevesti na engleskom.
You will say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kratko, možda zato što Bhishma ne želio imati tu rasu sa Krišnom. Zato je morao biti na suprotnoj strani.
Bhakta Krishna says that maybe because Bhishma wanted to have this fighting rasa with Krishna, and this is why he wanted to be on the opposite side. Now, I think some devotees are watching and hearing on Mayapur TV, and maybe some of them would really like to comment. But I don't know if this is possible. If they want to comment on this, how, why. But anyway, I will do a research. Yeah? Louder, please. Oh, you get the microphone. Bhakti Lirka says that Bhishmadev has a certain position in the community, in the society, and he didn't want to change it. Okay? Yeah?
Kad je netko zaposlen u određenoj firmi, jednostavno radi za tu firmu i ne smatra to nečim bitnim za pravi unutrašnji život.
If somebody works for a company, then they don't want to change the company, and
ne smatra to nečim toliko bitnim za njegov pravi unutrašnji život.
He doesn't consider this to be so important for his inner life. Okay?
Bhishmadev, znači, on je
Bliže.
u stvari dao je zavjet, kako obećanje, da će u stvari uvijek služiti kraju Askogapore. Zato
Bhakta Bruna says that Bhishmadev promised that he will always serve the king of Hastinapur. And that was Duryodhana, or? Yeah? I haven't read Mahabharata, so I don't know all these details. Okay. Now, I want to mention the last point. It's almost 8:30. That Bhishma was most satisfied man because of Yudhishthira's being enthroned in place of Duryodhana. So although he was on Duryodhana's side, he was happy that the pious king was enthroned after this huge massacre, the battle. And so this is when he starts to talk to the Pandavas and congratulate them, and basically everything became auspicious at the end. So now again, I mean, this story about Bhishma's passing away is very much related to leadership, and Bhaktivedanta Swami, he wrote a book, his second leadership book, where he commented extensively on this Bhishma's teachings to Yudhishthira. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that leadership is so important, that leaders are Krishna conscious, that leaders are pious. And now we are not interested in politics, but Srila Prabhupada wanted us to influence leadership in the world and to take leadership in ISKCON also. And I know a devotee who is in politics, but he's a new devotee, but he's very much one of the prominent parties, and he's very much Krishna conscious, leading Srimad Bhagavatam, consulting with devotees. So that's nice to have someone in this world who is actually who will not be corrupted by money or by whatever, fame. So my hope is that gradually actually there will be devotees in the political realm, and then they can spread this Krishna conscious ideas and the influence. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.